3, 2, 1. Happy Devastation, everybody! It's finally happened. No, little Garrick's corruption didn't get cured. The God Pharaoh's return is imminent. Now, don't get worried, guys. I'm not some kind of Bolas fanatic. I'm just really excited to see this big baddie return to the main storyline. You guys should be excited too. With the return of Bolas comes the return of Friday Night Magic, a lore series with an added giveaway. Unlike the God Pharaoh breathing life into the Luxor River, except not a complete lie. But I'm not going to trick you guys like Bolas did. Stay tuned at the end of the video for a chance to win some goodies. Now with the hours upon us, Bolas' promised return to Amonkhet is mere moments away. The Gatewatch are still woefully unprepared, and the gods are still in the Bolas honeymoon stage. We kick off Hour of Devastation's lore with the Hour of Revelation. It has backstory, a river of blood, and a demon. Enjoy. The beginning of this story takes us back in time. Far, far back, but not as far back as you'd think, considering Nicol Bolas selectively created this new society that's completely devoted to him. The timeline reads, it was about 60 years prior to the Gatewatch's arrival, 3 generations on a plane where the average elderly person is in their mid-20s. This is when Nicol Bolas, the God Pharaoh, first arrived on Amonkhet. Nicol Bolas is in a pickle. The Mending had just occurred and his godly powers were waning, something he was desperate to prevent. Amonkhet was key in his plan to regaining these pre-Mending powers, a plan that spanned millennia and the vastness of the multiverse. That begs the question, what makes Amonkhet so important? Of course, a big menacing dragon flying overhead will catch the people's attention, namely Amonkhet's protectors, its gods. The story explains that the city of Naktumen is still protected by the Hekhma, and a vast waste still existed beyond that, similarly to what we see on modern-day Amonkhet. So the whole idea that the God Pharaoh created the Hekhma to protect the people is proven to be a lie. The gods are amazed at the dragon's power. His magic seems to defy even their laws of nature. The Hekhma was merely paper to Nicol Bolas. He tested it and plunged one of his massive claws through with little resistance. Oketra, the god of solidarity, let loose a flurry of arrows, bolts of pure energy and light, but they did little more than bounce off the scaly hide of the dragon. In classic Nicol Bolas fashion, he smirked at their defiance. Hazoret led the charge to protect the citizens as the other 7 gods prepared to defend the city. Hazoret gathered the young and elderly and led them to safety, as the Hekhma gave way under the pressure of this otherworldly beast. Again, Hazoret would lead the charge, using her famous fervor to inspire her fellow gods to attack. Kefnet, the god of knowledge and wisdom, creator of the Hekhma, strained to keep the barrier solid as the dragon pushed through. Bolas merely tilted his head and Kefnet's mind shattered, sending the god plummeting. All Bolas had to do to end the god, literally, was just concentrate for just a moment. Wow. Now fully into the city, the other gods want to launch an offensive to protect their people. An interesting line from the article, it seems Nicol Bolas realizes that they care for the people and refers to the worlds he himself created before the Mending, explaining how he doesn't care about them at all. Of course, now that Bolas knows what they care about, he attacks them directly. With just a snap of his mental prowess, all living beings old enough to walk blinked out of existence, leaving scores of helpless infants alone and screaming. This brutal display of power crippled the gods. All 7 were brought to their knees, as Kefnet was still knocked unconscious. Losing that many people, being left only with the indecipherable prayers of infants, left the gods shocked. They had lost a great deal of purpose. For most of them, the fight was over. Yet 2 wouldn't succumb to despair as easily, not as long as there were still lives to save. Hazoret and Oketra ran away from the battle to secure as many infants as they could, to save the last lives remaining on Amonkhet. Nicol Bolas was amused by their efforts, but it would all be for naught. The dragon followed them to their little hiding spot and found the gods with a group of children. Hazoret was still defiant. The children of Naktumen will not die at the hands of a beast, she says. Bolas replies, no, they will die at the end of your spear. The gods charged, but with a simple glare, their motion was stopped, and a blinding light warped their minds. Amonkhet now belonged to Nicol Bolas. Bolas had himself a 5-part plan that would allow Amonkhet to be self-sufficient as he continued other aspects of his grand scheme. He's such an organized dragon conqueror, you know? First, he took 3 of the gods for his own. As it says, he stored them away like tools in a shed. When the time came, they would be of use to him again. He also warped the mana ley lines of Amonkhet, erasing the gods' memory of the past and tying their very existence to Bolas himself. From now on, they would worship and praise the dragon, their newfound creator. Next, he turned to the children he left orphaned on Amonkhet. They were needed for his plan, but they needed caretakers. The dead of this world were already raised by the Curse of Wandering, so Bolas found them to be perfect babysitters, the creation of the Anointed. Third, Bolas had to make this world devoted to him, but he didn't have time to literally rewrite all of history. He played off the plane's own history and merely warped it with his inclusion. The trials of merit were an ancient practice, now have become the trial of the 5 gods. Champions would be sacrificed to the motions of the plane's second sun, perfect for his own purposes. He placed a spell on the second sun to move whenever he intended to return. The constant stream of dead champions would become his biggest prize on Amonkhet. Fourth, he built the ever-present monument seen by everyone on Amonkhet, the horns of Bolas that would never change no matter where you were, a permanent reminder of his will. And lastly, he made a promise to return. Mortals do love promises after all. It gave them something to believe in, and inspired followers like nothing else. This is how Amonkhet has been for the last 60 years. Corrupted gods, dead forced to serve, the presence of a god pharaoh none understood, and the trials that ended in death with no apparent purpose. This is Amonkhet willed by Nicol Bolas, and now he's finally made good on his promise. The second sun had reached its zenith, the hours have begun. Bolas was returning. At this point in the story, we go back to modern day Amonkhet, where Gideon and Samut had just saved Jeru from being all stabbed by Hazoret. And while he's really bummed out about that, and the god wasn't so thrilled either, everyone's pretty distracted as the hour has finally begun, and the god pharaoh was bound to arrive. Scores of people, Naga, Aven, Minotaur, gathered in a frenzied heap at the gate of the afterlife, a giant structure found at the end of the Luxor River. Typically, only the dead of the final trial of the gods, Hazoret's trial, would float through the beautiful gates to what they perceived as paradise. No living eyes have ever seen what's beyond it. Deru was mad at Samut for taking that away from him, but at least now he can beckon the god pharaoh personally for paradise. Yeah, people got a little crazy with this going on. People are going nuts! They hear noises, otherworldly noises, and everyone's praising the gods. It's just pure insanity. The gate to the afterlife begins to crack open, and everyone's diving into the river trying to sneak a peek. As for the god pharaoh, well, he still hasn't shown himself. The gates swing open, and paradise is on the other side. Oh, wait, it's not. It was a lie. The only thing that lied beyond was the necropolis, the fabled place of the worthy who awaited the pharaoh's return. There were no rolling fields of green, just wastes, monsters, zombies. The same stuff that was lurking around the rest of the Heckma. Muttering could be heard from the panicked crowd. Above this crowd, large wings cast a shadow under the 2 suns. The form was accompanied by a loud, otherworldly screech. It wasn't the god pharaoh, but a demon, the guardian of the afterlife, the last trial, the color of the weak, Razaketh. The demon landed just above the Luxor River, held out his arm and dug deep into his veins. His sharp claws raked through his flesh and blood began to drip into the river. The Luxa turned red and angry. The thick viscous killed the fish and anything else unlucky to be in the water. This was the true hour of devastation. Razaketh looked out over the crowd and screamed a name, Liliana. I know you're here, Liliana Vess, you cannot hide from me. Samut had met Liliana and was curious as to why this demon was searching for her. But more importantly, she wondered how Deru was dealing with this mess. His whole world had been turned upside down. The gods he knew, the end he was promised, were all lies. The hour of devastation had begun, and it was nothing like any of them had expected. So Amonkhet just got a lot more ominous. The backstory helped set the stage for Bolas' return, but we still have a lot of questions unanswered, like, what did he do with those 3 gods? One thing's certain though, Razaketh knows Liliana's there. This ain't gonna be an easy fight. But this is just the beginning. Something tells me Amonkhet's in for a lot more hurt than just a toxic river. However, you can escape this woe by liking, sharing, and leaving a comment on this video. It's the only proven way to beat Bolas, honestly, and they're the only way to enter this week's giveaway. What's up for grabs this week? It's Nicol Bolas' Gem of Becoming, a mystical artifact tied to the dragon's power, and... just kidding. You think I'm strong enough to steal from Bolas? The guy controls gods with the snap of his claw. No, I have a much more obtainable giveaway this week, a mini version of our Aether Hub bundle available online. You can check them out at www.aetherhubtcg.com. They're basically bundles of packs sold together at a discount. For this video, I'll be giving away 3 packs and a single mystery card, a similar deal to what you find over at our store. Guys, we priced this stuff really low to give you guys the best deal out there, but it won't work unless we get a lot of sales. So if you liked it, consider sharing the website with your friends. It could really help out the YouTube channel and the store itself. Anyway guys, I just want to say thank you so much for the support on the channel and the store. You guys have been so amazing. Thanks so much for making this one of the best communities out there. And remember, don't be afraid to feed your obsession. I'll see you guys all next time here in Aether Hub HQ. Hey guys, thanks for watching the Aether Hub here on YouTube. If you enjoyed this video, support the channel and all our creators by liking, sharing, and of course subscribing so you never miss our latest video. You yourself can become an honorary Hub member by visiting our store at www.aetherhubtcg.com. We have a special pre-order event happening right now where you can snag some of the best deals on packs available. Afterwards, consider visiting our friends over at 5 Color Combo. They have an amazing free app that I use to practice my limited picking skills along with custom art playmats and tokens. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember, never be afraid to feed your obsession. I'll see you guys next time.